Huawei Honor 6 Plus Review. Dual rear cameras, high-performance silicon and a large screen in a not-so-gigantic shell. The Huawei Honor 6 Plus certainly ticks a lot of boxes, but the discerning buyer is spoiled for choice. Can the latest entrant into the fray hold its own against the competition? We find out exactly that and much more in our review of the Huawei Honor 6 Plus. The Huawei Honor 6 Plus is a typical example of what we've come to expect from Chinese brands. Original design has typically been hard to come across, and unfortunately that remains true here as well. To call the Sony Xperia Z3 and the iPhone 5 inspirations for the Honor 6 Plus would be an understatement. The glass back and metallic edge running around the top, left and right of the handset have been lifted straight from the iPhone 5. The metallic edge and in fact even the bottom of the handset have been curved off in exactly the same fashion as the Sony Xperia Z3. The strange love child of the two very different designs will certainly make you raise an eyebrow at your first glance. That said, in its favor, the design isn't bad per se. It just isn't very original, and for someone who loves symmetry, the collision of two fairly distinct design languages will be irksome. The front of the handset is as plain Jane as they come. The large 5.5-inch display is set into a black panel and the bezels are thankfully really slim. Not only does this enhance the visual appeal of the phone but also greatly improves the ergonomics. Using this handset in one hand might be tough but is not impossible. Above the display lies the earpiece, the front-facing camera and the usual range of sensors you've come to expect. Since the phone opts for on-screen controls, there are no capacitive buttons here. Huawei Honor 6 Plus -6 over on the right side of the Huawei Honor 6 Plus, you will find pretty much all the hardware interface elements as well as the connectivity options. A volume rocker is placed right at the top. Following this is the power key. Both the buttons are well located and can be easily reached even with one-handed operation. We found the volume rocker to be a bit too flush with the handset, but that is something we got used to over time. Moving on, you'll find two slots built into the phone. Huawei Honor 6 Plus -7. The lower slot houses the standard micro SIM card for your phone. The secondary slot on the other hand is somewhat interesting. Despite the phone being advertised as a single SIM device, the secondary slot can take both a micro SD card or a nano SIM card depending on your choice. The caveat here is that the Indian units simply don't recognize the secondary SIM card due to a software lockout. Is it possible that an enterprising developer might enable dual SIM support on the Honor 6 Plus? Your guess is as good as ours. Huawei Honor 6 Plus -1-2. The rear panel has a slight mesh-like pattern etched into it with a Gorilla Glass layer on top of it. The top left side has the dual camera modules with a dual LED flash next to it. The cameras sit in an island of sorts which should provide a modicum of protection, albeit not much. Overall, the phone doesn't stretch the boundaries of design much. It's yet another above-average-looking handset. Performance. The Huawei Honor 6 Plus is powered by an in-house Kirin processor. The high-silicon Kirin 925 processor is an octa-core unit in a big little configuration. You get 4 Cortex-A15 cores clocked at 1.8 GHz for high-performance activities, while the remaining 4 Cortex-A7 cores clocked at 1.3 GHz will serve for simpler tasks. The latest generation Kirin processors support HMPE heterogeneous multiprocessing so that the phone can automatically switch between core clusters and indeed individual cores for maximum battery efficiency and performance depending on the requirement at that moment. Paired with the Kirin 925 is a Mali T624 GPU and 3 GB of RAM. That last bit means that you're virtually guaranteed to never run into memory issues while multitasking. Huawei Honor 6 Plus -10. You might be inclined to believe that since the processor is clocked lower than the Qualcomm toting competition, it won't perform as well. While this might very well be true in terms of benchmarks which we'll be looking at shortly, the proof in the pudding, however, is in the actual day-to-day performance of the handset. On this front, The handset excels. The device is a joy to use with fast and fluid transitions all around. Multitasking works well, while web scrolling remains fluid even when browsing multiple heavy websites and simultaneously switching between social media apps. We also ran a couple of games on the handset and they all performed without a hitch. Follow along for key benchmark scores from the Huawei Honor 6 Plus.